There we go. Hi, I'm Pam. This is not done yet. Happy hour on September 7th. And this is.
Yeah, I'm John, and I'm here with Pam. It's our weekly happy hour.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, dears.
Cheers to you. Cheers to us. Cheers to everyone else. It's been a nice day in Minneapolis. It's raining off and on, but the temperature is more like October temperatures. Today it's ranged from 58 to about 62. Slight wind, and we don't even need a jacket, really. Just a long sleeve shirt. So it's a good time of year.
Yeah.
And tonight, I thought we'd talk about the subject of philosophy. Now, I was telling Pam I had a couple of courses in philosophy. I'd say it was 60 years ago that I had those courses, and I liked them, but I just never had time in my life to study it any further or take any more classes. So I just been reading up on it a little bit here and wanted to share it with you, what I've found. First of all, a real simple definition of philosophy is that it's the pursuit of wisdom, truth, and knowledge. In fact, the word itself means love of wisdom in Greek. And wisdom is defined as the ability to combine knowledge, experience, and good judgment in order to make sound decisions. So that's philosophy. It can be very useful to people, but there's quite a few different schools of philosophy.
Before you go on to the.
Yeah, sure.
We've been talking about this for the last few days, and it came to me. Whoops. We're still working this out. What can I say?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, it was doing well.
Is this chaos theory?
Chaos theory, yeah.
We're not going there.
That's perfect. Okay.
But the issue I brought up is that wisdom, good judgment, just are such subjective words, and that a person's could be learning from their experience, and their idea that they're now wise is totally different than the next person who went through the same thing and doesn't think they're wise.
Well, Pam and I have had a slight disagreement on this, and I think the proof is in the pudding. And, if people think they've attained wisdom and have the ability to combine knowledge, experience, and good judgment to make sound decisions, and the decisions appear sound to the majority of people, or almost all the people, I think they're on the right track. So I don't think it's that big a deal that there may be some little differences in the conclusions they come to.
Well, I think saying that the majority of people could agree on that a decision is sound or not is unrealistic.
Okay. Well, we'll
go
cover
on.
that in chapter 2, session 2. Okay.
Well, or maybe another part of this session.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I don't think so. And I just have picked out, as I said, there's a lot of schools of philosophy. Western philosophy really goes back to I use the BC characteristic, and I realize that's kind of outdated and probably not considered properly. It stands for before Christ, because I know there's a new nomenclature for
I don't know.
Before the 0 year, but I don't know what it is. But anyway, philosophy started before the 0 year, maybe 1,000 years before it, Western philosophy, with Aristotle and Plato and I can't remember, a couple others, all Greek philosophers, very smart men, and they spent a lot of all their days talking and thinking about philosophy and how to develop a philosophy of life, and it's still very applicable today. But more recently, there's been new philosophies, and well, one of the ones, and this isn't necessarily real new, but it's nihilism, and that's the philosophy that believes all values are baseless. Nothing can be known or communicated. It's often associated with extreme pessimism and a radical skepticism that condemns existence. A true nihilist will believe in nothing and have no loyalties. So that's pretty extreme beliefs, and I really it can have some very negative end results for people who subscribe to that theory, because there's basically no hope that they have. So that we're not going to talk too much about that. I just wanted you to be aware of it, and it's the next bigger, larger encompassing.
Oh, can I just throw
Oh,
in?
sure,
I just
you
wanted
bet.
to mention that I was unsure of the pronunciation of nihilism because I'm used to saying nihilism, and so I was happy to be corrected, and it's nihilism.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, and so if any of you have the same issue, now you know. Nihilism is the correct
Yeah,
pronunciation.
you heard it here. And then a big one is existentialism.
Got it.
And you hear that used a lot, even currently. Politicians and other commentators seem to use it to describe problems. They call it, oh, that's an existential problem.
Or existential angst. A lot of us suffer from that,
Yeah.
I believe.
So existentialism, it's actually a school of philosophy, a recent one that came into existence pretty much around the Second World War, and partially because of the horrible events of the Second World War. And here's a short definition. Existentialism is a philosophy centered on human existence, freedom, and choice, emphasizing that individuals create their own meaning and essence in a world without inherent purpose. Existentialism is the idea that life has no inherent meaning. I mean, you're not born with a whole blackboard full of meaning and understanding, but each individual must create their own purpose and meaning through their choices and actions. So you're kind of a blank slate, but then you achieve some meanings through.
Can I interject?
Yes,
again?
you can. Help me.
Well, I think this definition really speaks to me because I think I'm an existentialist. But also I wanted to mention that as we get older, as a younger person, we somehow scraped and clawed and figured out what our purpose was. And maybe it was only to make money, or maybe it was to be in the army and fight for what you believed in, or picket for what you believed in, or run a large corporation that would create things like the computer and change everyone's lives. So we had purpose. A lot of people in our building were engineers, and they helped with the creation of defibrillators and pacemakers that were, saved lives, and a big deal. I mean, purpose was huge, and they fulfilled that purpose. And now, just like John and I are in a position in our lives of trying to find the purpose in it. And that's why I think, I just think it's a very timely conversation to have about existentialism, because older people, I think, struggle to find that. And some people, like myself, really have to find it. Or else I almost tip over a little bit to nihilism, because it's so important to be doing something that matters. And how you define that, or how you figure out what matters, it matters to who? Is it to me? Is it to someone else? I don't know. Anyway, that's my little option.
Okay, well, very good.
Thank you.
In saying a little bit more about existentialism, Jean-Paul Sartre, a French philosopher who lived during World War II, he's the one that kind of came up with that philosophy and developed it and made it quite popular. And he's got some, what's his conclusion here? Well, he talked about 4 big ideas: freedom, responsibility, anguish, and being true to yourself. So being free means we get to choose our own way, but that also means we're responsible for our choices. This can feel really heavy and make us worried, but Sartre said it's important not to run away from this. By facing our fears and making choices that feel right to us, we live lives that are true and real. That's like being the hero of your own story. So that's kind of existentialism.
Can I throw something
Oh,
in
you
again?
bet. Yeah.
Okay. The Pammy piece on this is, he, in this wonderful book that John has found, and I guess it's backwards, but it's a teeny tiny history of philosophy, and it's for young readers or young adults, or, you
It's
know,
for kids mainly.
just
Children.
exploring the whole concept of philosophy.
Yeah.
And I would like to encourage every older person, if you're interested in things like this, and you didn't have the time when you were working and raising children to follow up and dig deeper, start out with a kid's book.
Yeah.
Because this is way beyond being a traditional kid's book. It's not about a raccoon, building a nest, which is very important. But it's about stuff that we may have learned and forgotten, or just are wanting to start out.
Well,
But back to where I was really going with interrupting this, is in this little book, it talks about Sartre being concerned with, what was the first one? Something, and freedom, and anguish, and what were the 4 things?
Okay, he had 4 big ideas.
Okay.
Freedom,
responsibility,
anguish, and being true to yourself.
True to yourself. Those are very meaningful to me. And 2 of the things the last 2, anguish and being true to yourself, he doesn't, in this teeny tiny book of philosophy, they don't address his positions on that. And I don't know them. But I've always felt, and I just think it's worth throwing out there, that anguish is such an important part of life. I mean, suffering is such an important part of life. And to really live fully, you have to embrace the suffering, embrace the anguish, acknowledge it, talk about it, be it. Because without the anguish, you could never know what was the good part.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And I like that word anguish. And it's not, I don't know if I've ever used the word in everyday conversation. And I kind of know what it means. I mean, it's troubling to feel anguished, but I don't fully understand it. But I think it's feeling ambiguous about something.
Oh,
and,
see, I think it's way more dark than
well,
that.
yeah, I think that's
it's
putting it
suffering.
lightly.
Suffering.
But it's suffering because you don't know if you're doing the right thing or not. You're trying to do the right thing, but you don't know if you are. And to me, that's kind of anguish.
It adds to the, that's a good.
And that's part of existentialism, I think. Things aren't clear cut, and it's up to you as the individual to determine and decide. And it's kind of what you said before. It's another one of these things that's somewhat subjective.
Right.
But you want to do what's right for yourself and for the world around you. And, if you make a mistake, it can be not good.
Right. But I also think that sort of feeds into the be true to yourself, because I think we live in a culture right now that says, do anything but that. Be what everyone else wants you to be. Be
Very
what
good.
your partner wants you to
Oh,
be, your therapist wants
your
you to
boss. And,
be.
yeah,
The politicians, the
yeah.
minister, the priest. And it's not okay to be true to yourself. Unless true to yourself means you're going to do just like everybody else.
Well, no, that's the opposite of what true to yourself means.
I know, but I'm saying that in this culture,
it's hard, it's difficult to be true to yourself.
Because people really don't want that.
No, of course not. They want you to be true to them.
Right. And you need to be happy and you need to be kind and you can't be sad and you can't be this.
It's very topical in this day and age.
It is.
To be true to yourself. And it's very more difficult than ever to be true to yourself. So
and you have to be very courageous.
You need a lot of courage to do that. And you have to risk a lot.
You do.
To do that.
And and some people make the decision to take those risks and some don't. And that's okay too, because not taking the risk, if that can be being true to yourself. Well, I just want to be clear.
If you don't take the risks, it's going to work out for a while, but I think eventually you're maybe not going to like yourself very well. Yeah. Because of different events that take place because of the path you chose, which you knew really wasn't being true to yourself. So I'm not. I know that oftentimes I have not been true to myself. I've followed the crowd when I didn't think the crowd was right. We all have. And kind of regret that. So and following it, as I know from personal experience, can bring a lot of suffering and anguish. Yeah. So it's a tough one. Yeah, I think we've covered that pretty well. Now the third one is what got me started on this whole thing. It's kind of getting dark in here. I think I can turn the light on without totally screwing things up. This weather is going from sunshine to rain every 15 minutes. So. Yeah, it's getting kind of dark in here. Okay, the third and last one here is Absurdism. And it's really not a school of philosophy in itself, but it's kind of I don't know if you'd say a sub-school or what, but it's a little bit of existentialism, a little bit of nihilism, but it's its own thing. And this is what, to me, I saw that word, absurdism, in the fact that there are people called absurdists who believe in this. And I just thought, boy, I'd like to know more about that. Maybe I'm an absurdist and don't know it. So I'm going to read some definitions here that I wrote down. So absurdists think that the human condition is essentially absurd because humans are always searching for meaning, but find no meaning because no such meaning exists. In Albert Camus, his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, introduces his philosophy of the absurd, exploring the conflict between humanity's innate desire to find meaning and the universe's silent indifference. So there's a real conflict there toward individual wanting meaning and their view of the universe just could care less if you find meaning or not. So in the Greek myth of Sisyphus, he is condemned to repeatedly roll a boulder up a hill. Each time when it rolls down the hill, he has to begin again. This myth advocates for finding meaning and dignity in the present moment, even in a meaningless world. Camus concludes that the struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a person's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. The end. So that's pretty profound. Yeah, this is something I'm still trying to digest and kind of hash over, but I find absurdism very interesting. Yeah. And in some ways it's connected to all the other two, nihilism and existentialism, but in some ways it's the opposite of
Nihilism.
It's the opposite of both, because
Well, I don't think
nihilism because you find meaning. Existentialism because you're. Oh, boy, I lost my
it has to do
thread
with
here.
just defining purpose.
Yeah, existentialism means that each individual creates their own purpose and meaning. But absurdism, you don't create anything. You just follow the rules of pushing the boulder up the hill. It falls back down. You go back down. You push it up again. Falls back down. You push it up again. You don't really question why you're doing that, but you manage to be happy and somewhat satisfied doing it. So that it's absurd that you do that, but that's what you do. So
there are so many things about this, and we're going way over.
Well, what is the time now?
20 minutes.
Oh
but
my
we're going to
God,
split
we gotta
this.
wrap it up.
We're going to split this into 2 episodes because Pammy's not done yet,
Tammy's not done. I'm sorry. Pam.
and you're not done either.
Okay.
We're not done yet.
We're not done
See
yet.
how good that was?
Yeah.
A couple of things about that. Let's see if I can hold on to them. There's a problem about talking to about philosophy when you're drinking martinis. But there was a time, and I remember it distinctly, I was in high school, and I was overwhelmed with this thing that if I'm going to die anyway, I might as well, and don't please take offense at this, it's a wonderful career. It's the old-fashioned name for it was I might as well be an airline stewardess. Because it really doesn't matter anything else that I would do to help mankind other than traveling for myself and helping the people on the airplane. Now, I didn't become a stewardess or as an attendant or whatever they are. Flight attendant.
Yeah.
And I value those people highly. But I was struggling with exactly what John was talking about.
Well, can I interject?
Please do, yeah.
Well, the only thing, Pam, that I'm going to tell you is that, and this may kind of clear things up for you a little bit, you were too short to be a flight attendant.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Wow.
Yeah, because I knew some women back then.
Well, okay.
Who wanted to be...
I was too fat, too. And
no,
I was thin then.
No, you weren't too fat. I'm sure. I didn't know you then. But yeah, they were probably a couple inches taller than you, and you had to be 5'6" or 5'7" at least to be a flight attendant, yeah. and you and they were not that tall.
You know what's amazing about that comment is that was all about the patriarchy deciding what women should be serving, and the fact that only women were allowed to do that.
Okay, job. Yeah, there I got you there. Men couldn't be airline attendants.
Right, because it was all about women in the role of servile.
I know.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to go there. You do not.
What an idiot.
Well, martinis, what can we say? A man is a man, and a white man is a white man. So there you go.
Oh, boy.
We won't go there either.
Oh, man, we're ending up in a bad way here.
There was something really important I wanted to say about this, too, is that even in what I would define personally as in meaningful careers, it still always felt, and even more so now, that I was pushing the ball up the hill. And in today's society, I worked for certain things. They drove me as a social worker and a public servant for 50 years. To do things, some of them were meaningful, some of them were inconsequential, but in the end, it really meant nothing. And I used to question that about people who chose teaching, because you're born and you live a life, and then what you do is to train other people to be born and live their life. So how is that advancing the public good? You know? And I know it is, and it's such an important thing. And teachers can do so much to shape the values and the energy and the self-esteem that of children who could go on to make the world a better place. But it all comes back to absurdism, existentialism, nihilism. It's just one big confused chaos theory.
Yeah, well, I think you've
I'm done.
answered your own question
Yeah,
about teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers can have a huge impact on the future.
Right. And we both have very dear people dear to us who are fabulous teachers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, and I think the same with social workers.
Oh, yeah. And they aren't all caseworkers who majored in English, just so you know.
Okay, well, thank you for sticking with this, if you have. And if you haven't, maybe you can come back and watch the other half or the other 2/3 or something. But, and, you know, if you get a chance and you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you really thought it was stupid and boring, give us a thumbs down, because we want to know both. And comments are always welcome. We get hardly any comments. So,
And don't forget to subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, and it means something to somebody. We're not sure what,
we don't know
and we
what,
don't know to who. The other thing, shit. What was I going to say?
I don't know. Well.
Oh, well.
Well, we'll be back.
Yeah.
You know, whether anyone wants us to be back or not.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. There's some algorithm thing when you get so many hours of something, I'm not exactly sure what, that you can do live streaming. And I was thinking a conversation like this, it might be really interesting to see in real time what people are thinking.
Oh, I think it'd be great.
Obviously, you know, we're not really going to deal with people who hate us. If you hate us, more power to you, but whatever. But if you wanted to engage in the future in some sort of a limited conversation, we're working towards that. Okay. And your likes and subscribes will help us, and your views help us.
Yeah, we can learn. You know, we know we have a lot to learn.
Yeah,
and you know, we're old, but we still want to learn.
Yeah, so. One of the most inspiring phrases I ever heard was ascending truth. That when you're with people that agree, that you're constantly coming closer or advancing truth. I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Well, I've never heard that term before.
But yeah, so. Ascending truth.
Ascending truth.
So maybe that's what we're all about.
Yeah, there may be people out there who are familiar with that term and know what it's all about. That could educate us. So anyway,
okay.
Well, we'll let you get back. If you're type who like, I only drink about twice a week, so I'm not.
That's his new. His new goal.
That's my new goal. So here's to you.
Here's to us.
Thanks for watching. Here's to us, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, dears.
All right.